Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. Hey, time for another full tank review. This time the T20. This is an American Tier 7 medium tank. It is pretty small. Statistically, the numbers are bad on this tank, but I dusted it off. This is one of the first tanks lines that I played as a noob. So my overall statistics aren't that great, but the 8 battles I played yesterday, over 83% win rate, 2200 average damage. Was really enjoying this tank. It's got good mobility, nice accurate gun, 10 degrees of gun depression. And I think perhaps maybe the mobility and its small size here, if we can compare it to some of the other tanks, you can see just how small it is. The Comet, probably the go-to tank at tier 7 for a medium tank, and we'll get into statistics and the reasons why here in a second. But I do want to pull up the tech tree just to show you that this takes you up to the Pershing, the M46, and then the M48. And you know, overall the American tanks really are just average at every single category. They don't super excel in any one category like armor or gun handling or mobility, but they have more than average across the board, which makes them a fun tank to play. And quite honestly, probably some tanks that I should dust off and start playing a little bit more. As I said, this was one of my first tanks at this tier, and you have to be very situationally aware to play this tank well, and we'll get to that as we go through gameplay. But as for my setup: repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline, running case of cola, improved fuel, and bottle of cola, 26, 14, and 8 APCR. I love it. As far as your premium ammo, making sure we're buying that with credits. And then as far as equipment, probably the most controversial, I would say, is either whether or not you run gun rammer or calibrated shells. Finding yourself at tier 7, while the pen is not bad compared to other mediums at the tier, you are often bottom tier, facing some heavies at tier 8. So I've stuck with the calibrated shells. Yes, that does cost me DPM. As you can see, our DPM is under 2,000, which is pretty poor. Defense system, improved optics, enhanced gun lane drive, improved assembly. We don't have any armor, so engine accelerator, moving and shooting on the move here. So we're going to run the vertical stabilizer, toolbox or enhanced tracks, really doesn't matter, and then consumable delivery system. So blitzstars.com, this is why I say that this tank is statistically really bad. The Comet I've pulled up next to it. I mean, look at this, 2650, 35% more damage per minute. Yeah, the pen's a little bit lower, and so is the Alpha. But look at this reload, 3.6 seconds versus 6.88 on the T20. And that's going to put your DPM below just about every single tank out here as far as tier 7 tech tree mediums go. And so I think that right there is, one of those statistics that it just looks bad on paper, but because of the mobility of the tank, you can work around it. So looking at the weapon handling, decent, not great. Like I said, you've got that 10 degrees of gun depression, and why the Comet stands out with its 12 degrees of gun depression. You've got very similar speeds to the Comet here, with 56 as your top speed, and your effective horsepower to ton ratio here is 20. So that's pretty good. As far as the mediums go. So that means you're going to accelerate, get to that top speed rather quickly. Nothing else really stands out there until we get down to the turret armor and the hull armor, 89 and 64. We look at all of these other tanks, their armor is better. And that's why statistically I say, I don't know why I enjoyed playing this tank so much, but I really have. And I think you'll see that in the gameplay. But 48.6% average win rate. It's the lowest here outside of the VK3002D. I mean, average damage 919. That's horrible, guys. So just be wary of that as we get into the gameplay here. Not a lot to talk about on the armor. You might find that you can bounce some shots if you get shot here on the side cheeks and the top of the turret, especially if you can angle that back a little bit, getting that effective armor up here to 185. So 10 degrees of gun depression, you can peek over the hill, and as you're pulling back, if you get shot at in this area, perhaps maybe you might bounce one or two, but don't expect to get bounced anywhere on the hull. Nothing that you can do really for this tank, other than the fact that it is smaller than a lot of the other mediums. Alright guys, so here is the first battle here. We are on Dead Rail Supremacy, and as you can see from this lineup, we are only one of two Tier 7 tanks. We've got a Light, a Scorpion, some good meds over here, Lorraine. So the reason I wanted to point this game out, if we can get that thing to hide away, is I felt like this was a good overall game to show you that you can compete as bottom tier, but you have to be very wary of your positioning. Because you have such low DPM, you cannot stand to brawl against these tanks that have much higher damage per minute numbers. So you can see we've pulled up here behind this rock, and we're just going to take our shots and manage to back out. Lorraine, that's a pensive player. No, he's a good player. He is going to manage to get out of there alive, which is some good lucky driving on his part, and we take out the lightweight and the Dracula here. As we push in, don't want them to focus on Lorraine. You'll notice here in the couple shots on the hill, little bit of bounce in the gun barrel. Might be my one and only complaint outside of such low DPM numbers with this tank. We're using the carcass of the Dracula now. Like I said, you don't want to get into a situation where you are just trading shots. Yeah, there comes a time where you just have to, and you really need to start using your hit points. And I know that I had that Scorpion, and I was expecting him to come over the hill and do some damage. Yeah. But, you got to aim your shots even against Tier 8 mediums. So he's focused on the Scorpion, which allows me to just take my shots and back up. And, we've done a fairly good job doing damage, conserving hit points. Yeah, this was a little bit of a lopsided battle, but I just wanted to show you this as far as we've gotten the mobility. We're getting back to the other side of the map here. We're getting a shot in on the move. So I would say, you can almost throw out the statistics on this tank and not worry about having such DPM if you're able to position yourself. Poor STG here can't find a place to get a shot in, so we'll go ahead and take that kill. That puts us up over 2,300 damage. RHM, yeah, you're in trouble. You're going down. I should have just fired a shot in here, but was hoping I'd be able to spot him up before anyone else shot him. Anyway, 2 kills. That's going to be top damage on this team, which is kind of surprising from having a tank here that is probably the lowest DPM tank there in the game, or this battle, I should say. But yeah, so a fun little battle there, shows you the strengths of this tank. 13 shots, 12 go in, and we only took 2. All right, guys, here's an interesting battle here on a copper field. So yeah, you're going to see this map a little bit with this tank when you are top tier. And, depending upon the makeup of the other team, sometimes I like to, even if I'm in a medium or light or whatever, I like to go up to the heavy side and just help hold the corner here. But for whatever reason, in this battle, I decided to push on through onto the light medium side and see what comes up. And sometimes if you're quick enough, you can get shots in across the side. Oh, great. It's going to be one of these games where you can't see where the tank is that I'm shooting at. That AMX there, super aggressive. I don't know why, no one didn't take him out sooner. And they've got an MT pushing across the other side as well. Yeah, getting a couple shots from that Annihilator. Not much fun. Now we've got our own problems here to worry about with the JP. I don't know what this VK was doing. Was hoping for some support on the JP, but he kind of stopped. So let's get all of these tanks here together here and start trying to get this JP down. But the VK sitting there, T-3485 there just gets blasted by the Annihilator. And one thing you can do, obviously, with tank destroyers is make sure you get onto their sides and stop them from doing damage. Now we have a dead carcass to hide behind here. Up over 1,200 damage already. That's going to put us up over 1,500. Tight, close battle here. Not sure what this VK is doing. There's no way that he's going to be able to get a shot off up on that hill. Knowing that we can get the kill shot there, I push, extended. And this VK, sometimes you wonder, guys. Sometimes you wonder. Luckily, we only take one from the Annihilator as we cross over the opening. And now, in hindsight, seeing this game over, I really should have rushed in with my other guys there and taken care of the Annihilator. But at this point in time, I'm thinking, all right, perhaps I can get some shots in and help our Annihilator on the other side of the map. Which, not knowing good player, bad player, was the wrong decision, as we'll show you at the end of the battle. But not too bad here for accuracy at distance. I know I'm going to have difficulty panning there, so APCR, we've got nice shell velocity, and that Annihilator can even take out the VK at close range. And so he's taken out. It's 2-on-2. And again, here's where I should have just circled back, used my speed, and tried to take on the Annihilator. But knowing that I'm a one-shot to the Annihilator, that's a difficult decision to make in-game as things are unfolding. And I'm hoping I can just whittle away at this T-29 before he notices me. And I now see that I do have potentially some shots on the Annihilator. And this might be the shot, If that does damage, perhaps that Tiger can get the kill shot in. And that was my mistake here, thinking that I was, I thought I was not spotted at that point in time. But so that was my mistake, cost me the game here, as we are now in a 2-on-1 and a one-shot to both of these. But, I'm not complaining about a game like this. This is 2v1. I like these close games. I get upset on the the 6-0, 7-0 lopsided battles. Not much more I can do. Don't even think I'm going to get another shot in, because T-29 is going to come over this hill, completely hull down. And yeah, the Tier 7 medium tank on a hull down T-29 looks like a lot of red. As we can see here, nothing we can do. Annihilator's closing in. Can't get away. And to that end, the Annihilator has 35% more damage per minute than me. So it's not even a fair fight there. But, we did manage to do a decent amount of damage. This was one of the games that we lost. And, this is who I went back to go protect. A 38% win rate player with 21,000 battles with an average of 439 damage. So sure wish there was a way to know, who your good teammates were, and decide on, I should have gone and helped the Tiger here. He was obviously a slightly better player, and my decision in game there could have cost us the win, really. All right, guys, Port Bay here. We are bottom tier. Supremacy. Looking at the lineup, Potentially the FCM and the T20 are going to cross, but I'm not too worried about anyone else crossing here. And I don't like spawning on this side as much because if you get spotted down here in the river, you are a target to any one of their heavies TDs that's fast enough to get up to the road, and you get shot crossing over. I think that's a little bit of an unfair advantage to this side. So you can see here, I am spotted, so we're just gonna park it right on in here and go for a little bit more of a safe play than trying to cross. But spotting the FCM there, looks like we slowed him down. Oh my god. Why I can't get a replay to play right, I don't know. But you can see here how the FV is, he's just bleeding hit points at the moment. Gun has good accuracy, not that good. But, you know, we're in a nice position here now, and we've got quite a few targets to shoot at. There's a T25 too that we just reviewed, and kind of troll little turret on that thing. Still got a close battle. Gravedigger has pushed up. I need to get back and get shots down the river here. So we'll go ahead and do that here. And you get to see kind of just the accuracy of this gun with some pretty good snapshots here. We are not staying exposed for too very long. I'm going to go ahead and change my target to the T20. As he was turned out sideways, much bigger target to make sure we pen and do damage with each and every shot here. And there's that T25 too, as we nail him and do no damage. Gotta love it. But here's that 10 degrees of gun depression coming into play here. Not quite, but that was a pretty good shot. That one not so much. But yeah, it looks like the river is falling in our favor here, so I'm gonna push up. We'll start using some of our hit points that we've conserved so well towards the end of the game. Lucky bounce there, probably off the top of the turret. Probably overextended here, taking some big damage. But you gotta love the mobility on this tank. It's really good. We've got just enough hit points here to take one from the WZ, finishing him off. And so, you know, again, this just goes to my point about damage per minute number. Is really just relative to how you play the tank and how accurate the gun is. And you can see all of those shots that I took in this game where I just peeked around a hill or a corner and snapshotted it in. You know, 2291 here in damage, level 1. Nice little battle here as bottom tier. Gravedigger also did well. But yeah, so accuracy was not as on point with this battle here. Just because, you know, we were taking some shots from distance at some pretty small, slim targets there. All right, guys, last battle that I wanted to show you, and I had some fun battles in this tank. Bottom tier, Fort Despair, Supremacy, and continuing on kind of like the theme that I started out with as far as that first battle there on Dead Rail. As bottom tier, my recommendation is do not be overly aggressive in this tank. Like we've talked about throughout the entire review here, you have very low damage per minute numbers, so you cannot get into brawling situations with tier 7 mediums, or definitely not anything in tier 8. So what I have primarily been doing is taking a more passive role towards the, you know, the back, so to speak, and just not bleeding any hit points early on. So really interesting position here for this T23 to take. He's not going to last long in this position, I can't imagine. But he does have me proximity spotted, so I do need to be wary of that. My guys come in and take him out. And you can see here, you know, a minute into the game here, we're still being extremely passive. Don't want to bleed hit points early. And we've only got one shot to go. But don't panic, because, you know, the damage numbers will come provided you're not too passive and you just let your whole team die and don't start doing damage, right? So we're down a tank here at the moment. I've got KV3 that we're just peeking out and finishing him off. And now we're just going to see what happens here. We've got the Ferdy. God, I hate this replays. Sorry, guys. But we've got the Ferdy and the SU-122. And they're both looking at me. So we're going to switch over to the SU. Much easier target to pen. Now they're definitely looking at me, and we're going to say, you know what, I'm not going to risk that. We've got to target the T-34. We snap one in there. And I don't want to go head-to-head onto tank destroyers, because they are just going to obliterate me. So we'll go out and support the VK and the AMX over here. Now, that is on me. I should have waited one extra second to let the aim fully go in. I'd have killed off the SU and made this a closer game. But as you can see, we are down 2 tanks here. The AMX is distracted, trying to run away. Taken out, 3 on 2. And we've got the Yo over here, but he has protection on that lower plate by the KV3. So try to go in through the hatch, but not going to work. Must be on a reload, because he didn't try to shoot me until just then. Come across and get the kill shot into the SU. God, I hate the replay that I'm not showing. Apologize for that, guys. But now we've got our ammo hit, and I repair it, and my driver's still dead. So we used the wrong repair kit there. Cannot pen the front of the Ferdy. So my target here is to get the Yo out of the game. A nice roll finishes it for him. But of course not. We're going to leave him with 8 hit points. And my remaining teammate is taken out, leaving me a 2-on-1 situation here. I was really hoping the Yo would make a mistake and come around the corner. And I thought the Ferdy was coming at me as well. So I decided I'm going to push and get some distance, which I like to do on 1v1 situations. We get lucky there to get away from the Ferdy and bounce one from the Yo, and we're able to then get in here and trade shots, but it's a kill shot. It is now 1 versus 1. I have no repair kits. So, can we stay away from the Ferdy here? He's pushing to the left. I'm going to get one shot in him, and we're going to have enough mobility here to be able to back up as he comes around. We're reloaded, trying to take his tracks off, but just missed there. Can we get one more shot in here? And we're just dwindling away at the hit points. But as you notice, we are up on cap points, so I don't need to be stupid. Just need to stay alive here. And this is the point where Ferdy kind of just gives up trying to chase me here, as we were successful in dwindling him down far enough. So clock goes off. I can get one more shot in, and 2600 damage here, bottom tier. As you saw, the damage didn't come towards the end of the game, but yeah, that's good for level 1. 21 shots fired there, 18 out of 14. So like I said, statistics, throw them out the window. Learn how to play the tank properly, and I think you will really enjoy this tank. I know I did, and it's been a while since I've been able to say that about a tank that's not, like an Annihilator or Smasher or something. But I really had some fun games in it, and hopefully you will as well. So with that, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.